Hey, what is up, you guys? So I wanted to do a video today about a Catfish episode because I haven't seen anybody else talk about this Catfish episode. Someone probably has. I literally only watch like one person that watches Catfish like episodes and talks about them, but that's aside of the point. I wanted to talk about this because I think it's insane in general, like regardless of what anyone else has to say. I have a lot to say about this episode, so I was like, whatever, I'm gonna make a video about this. I don't care. So we're just gonna jump right in. The Catfish episode that I'm talking about is season 8, episode 18, I believe. It's Micah and Ryan. This is probably one of the most outrageous Catfish episodes that I've ever seen. Like, there's definitely some other ones up there. Like, there's some pretty infuriating people on this show, but this one really made me pretty mad. So this is a quarantine episode. This was during 2020, during the peak of pandemic. So they are doing the like meet through Zoom purely. Everything is done through Zoom. So we start with someone sending in an email on behalf of their friend. So the friend Whitney sends in an email on behalf of her friend Ryan because she believes that he's getting catfished by this girl that he just met on Tinder. The friend Whitney mentions that Ryan has not FaceTimed this girl yet, and she doesn't think that he's called her at this point, but that he has been sending her gifts and money, which is an obvious red flag. Like, that's the first red flag. Cami even says herself that she will never understand why people send money and gifts to people they have never even met and haven't even FaceTimed with. And I completely agree, because why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? So Ryan lives in Detroit, and the catfish, Micah, or who we believe to be the catfish, Micah also lives in Detroit, which is crazy because since they both live in Detroit, they, Neve and Cami ask, well, why haven't they met? And Whitney's like, well, COVID. It's literally the perfect excuse, which it is. I mean, it's a good reason to not meet a random stranger. Shouldn't go meeting random strangers anyway, but during the middle of a pandemic, yeah, I could see why no one would want to do that. So like I mentioned, he met this catfish, Micah, or who we believe to be catfish, Micah, on Tinder, and they had actually been talking through Snapchat as well as on just like iPhone messages. He actually said that he received snaps from Micah, but there is a way to fake snaps. I'm not gonna tell you how, but there is a way. I know how as well, but I'm still not gonna tell you how. So there is, like, I know obviously on Snapchat you can post stories from before and it will say like from camera roll or 9 months ago or whatever, but there's a way to do it without that popping up, and that's what I mean by I'm not going to tell you how to do that part. Now, it's not hard to figure out how to do this or how to find out, but I just wouldn't feel right giving potential catfishes a way to catfish. She also was asked if she had Instagram and was told that he was told that she does not have an Instagram, and Cami clocks this and is like, you're telling me this young girl, because she's said to be 21, you're telling me this young girl doesn't have Instagram? They also mentioned she doesn't have Facebook, but that's not really surprising. Like, a lot of people don't have Facebook, or they don't use their real names on Facebook. I have a Facebook, I don't use it, and I also don't have my real name on there. So after this, they get into a bit of how he said he sent her a bit of money. A bit. But in reality, we find out that this man has sent this girl nearly $500.
By my count, you sent just under $500.
500 to someone you haven't even talked to on the phone that long. He does eventually mention they've called once. Once. And you're sending her money already? Be serious right now. Whitney, like Ryan's friend, is so funny because when he said that Micah says that she's gonna pay him back and they are like making a joke about it, Whitney says, well, the funds are between her legs. Then, also, a little bit after this, Cami mentions OnlyFans being an equal opportunity employer. By the way, it kind of low-key already feels like they know what's going on at this point, but I'm not gonna let you in on it just yet. In case you haven't seen the episode yourself, I'm not gonna spoil this for you. They talk a little bit more about everything, and Cami again mentions OnlyFans and that this might be the way that the Catfish is getting nudes to send to Ryan in the first place. Since, like I said, there is a way to fake snaps on Snapchat, that is a possibility of, like, how. Alright, so now they've started on their investigation after getting off the call with Ryan and Whitney, and they find this, they go and look up the phone number and they find that it's connected to someone named Cassandra Reed. And I just wanted to say this, but the Facebook picture for Cassandra Reed doesn't at all mix well with the types of posts that this person is making. Like, this person is using someone who looks like they're in politics and then talking like this. But you want me to believe that Cassandra Reed is a real person, and obviously it's not, because they didn't blur out the name, so it's obviously a fake account. But as they're scrolling through the posts on Cassandra Reed's profile, they find a comment from this girl named Brianna where she says that she needs to talk to Cassandra about Micah. And then once Neve and Cami find this, they are like, oh my gosh, we've hit the jackpot. So they reach out to Brianna. While they're waiting for Brianna to hit them back up, they look up the Snapchat of the Catfish, and the Bitmoji is automatically another red flag. It appears to be someone who's like an Asian girl, in my opinion, but the Catfish is pretending to be someone who is very obviously a black girl. So, what? I don't understand why you would make your Bitmoji that. Like, I know some people make their Bitmojis as like a joke. Like, they'll be like green or purple or blue. Like, you obviously can't be green, purple, or blue, so that's very obviously a joke. To me, that was just kind of weird. I don't know if this person was catfishing as other people as well. Or what, but that was just kind of wild. Like, if you're gonna catfish as multiple people, maybe stick to one race. Or maybe make a joke Bitmoji. Anyway, they get a hit back from Brianna, and we find out that Brianna does know the real Micah, so obviously the Catfish is not the real Micah. We pretty much all figured that out at this point, so there was really no hope of the real Micah being the person catfishing. But anyway, Brianna knows the real Micah, and Micah actually knows about this Catfish and did some digging herself and found the Cassandra Reed profile. The Cassandra Reed profile did not talk back to Micah when she tried to reach out to them herself, but Brianna tried to reach out to the Cassandra Reed profile and said that it was about Micah, so that's how Brianna ended up finding out all about this catfish and reaching out to the catfish. Brianna also mentions while they're talking that the real Micah does actually do OnlyFans, and so that is how the catfish was getting those nude pictures, as well as, you know, just like all the pictures in general, having her Instagram and her OnlyFans as well. Then it's obvious they were trying to fake by just grabbing all the pictures and sending them to Ryan. And Neve actually first mentions that this could put the real Micah at risk because the catfish isn't even pretending like Micah is in a different city. This person is literally pretending to be Micah to the T, like pretending to be in Detroit, which is where the real Micah actually lives. And this could put her at risk because some crazy person could find her. Like if they use the example of if Ryan was a crazy person and was like, hey, you owe me money to the real Micah in person because they live in the same, you know, city, then that could turn out really bad for her if Ryan would have been a bad person. I also just wanted to say, from me, I think this is a really serious thing in general. Like, regardless of who you're catfishing as, first of all, just don't catfish in the first place. But when you're catfishing, pretending to be someone else, especially if you pretend to be in the same area as the people that you're catfishing, you are putting the real person that you're using, like the pictures of that person that you're using, at risk. You're literally putting them in a situation where if the person that you're catfishing finds the person being, you know, finds the real person in these pictures, that person could be crazy and they could go after the real person, not knowing that that's not even who they were talking to in the first place. They don't need to be going after them. So maybe just don't catfish. Just don't catfish. I mean, it's really truly that simple. It takes so much effort to catfish. You could just avoid all that effort and just not do it. If you don't want to show people what you look like online, just don't show them. You don't have to pretend to be somebody else. And also, stalkers exist. If the person that you are catfishing is a stalker, then you're also still putting the real person who is in these pictures at risk. Maybe just don't do it. Anyway, they go back to Ryan and tell him that he's very obviously being catfished, and he seems pretty devastated about this, which was pretty heartbreaking. I'm honestly not sure though why he was surprised, but it is still really sad to see him so heartbroken about it. Anyway, they did reach out to the real Micah and got her to join the Zoom. Well, actually Brianna was able to talk to Micah and got her to join the Zoom, and then Ryan meets the real Micah. Micah goes on and tells her story or whatever and says that she had already tried reporting this catfish because she obviously didn't want her own pictures being used by this random stranger pretending to be her. But obviously nothing had happened. The catfish profile was still up. Also, in this encounter, Cami jokingly is like, well, are you single? to Micah, and it's just so funny that she's like jokingly trying to set them up. Like, oh my gosh. As they're talking, Cami again reiterates the point that Micah could be put in a pretty bad situation if people that are being catfished find Micah in real life. And Cami even says, you know, if you're in a place, don't tag where you are when you're actually there. Wait until after you've already left to post about anything that you've done, you know? So, and Micah was like, yeah, no, I never thought about that. And I think that is a very important point. I don't really post where I am typically unless I'm like at a large event. Like when I went to Lollapalooza, I posted there, but there's like over 100,000 people there. I don't think anyone was trying to find me personally. Nobody knows who I am, so I didn't really care. But in situations like if you're at the store, don't tag that you're at the store while you're there. It's small. People could very easily find you, and then you could get hurt if someone doesn't like you or if you have a stalker or anything else like that. So they keep talking, and eventually they decide that Micah does actually want to be in the Zoom call when they confront the catfish. So they reach out to the catfish, and I just thought it was so funny because Neve is being so shady with this. He literally sends a message and starts it off with, "Good morning, Micah," in quotes. And I just thought that was so funny. So after they reach out, the catfish texts back and says, "Sure, whatever, I just want this to be over with, but I don't want to talk to old girl." Old girl? Dude, be so serious right now. Why are you sitting here saying you don't want to talk to old girl? You're using old girl's pictures. Clearly you didn't have a problem with that, so be serious right now. Anyway, so after they find out that the catfish does not want to talk to Micah, they make a plan and they decide that Micah will still be in the Zoom, but she just has to stay muted and turn her camera off. But they do give her a code word for if she wants to jump in, and it's pineapple. And I just thought this was so funny because I literally just watched a YouTube video 2 days ago where this guy was like, "Why is everyone's safe word pineapple? Why do all you people have a safe word and use the word pineapple?" And I just thought it was so funny. Like, it made me think of that when I was rewatching this episode. Like, I watched this episode so long ago and I needed to rewatch it to make this video, and I was just like, wow, people really do use the word pineapple a lot for code words, huh? So now we get to the reveal. They invite the catfish to the Zoom, they join the Zoom, and there's a man's voice. Which, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. Yeah, that's a bit weird. This catfish's real name is Tony, allegedly. I don't know. I'm always like taking it with a grain of salt whenever a catfish reveals themselves and they say their name. Like, you could be using a fake name, but whatever. So this guy's name is Tony. He doesn't live in Detroit, but he does live in Michigan, and he was in the area at the time that the Tinder profile was made, so that's how he was pretending like he was in Detroit. Wow, you went out of your way. You went to Detroit. Now, I don't know how far this man lives from Detroit, but you went to Detroit to pretend to be people on Tinder. Now that's crazy. Anyway, they then get into asking him questions, and they ask him if he was a subscriber to Micah's OnlyFans, and he says yes. Obviously, how else would he have gotten the pictures? But then he tries to deflect. He says that him catfishing was a lesson. A lesson for what? There is no lesson. You're a scammer. Say it with your whole chest. You're a scammer. If you just wanted to scam, just say that. Like, you did this on purpose and you're using this as an excuse. This is literally the exact same excuse that I have seen predators use. They're like, oh, well, this should be a lesson to little girls to not talk to strangers online. No, you shouldn't be talking to little girls online. You went out of your way to talk to them. So what are you talking about? That's literally the exact same excuse that I have heard multiple predators use. When people get caught, they're just like, oh, well, I meant to do that. Well, obviously you meant to do it, but you're not using this in the way that you think that is truthful. Like, stop lying. You didn't do this because it was a lesson to guys. You did this because you wanted money and you're a broke bitch. I mean, it's okay. There's a lot of broke people out there. There's nothing wrong with being poor. But there is something wrong with scamming people. He also admits to scamming other people, surprise, surprise, and that he actually has girls that answer the phone for him, and that they get a cut of the money. So they're like, so this is basically a business? And he's like, no. Yes, it is. Bro, stop. Then he crazily says,
I bet you it won't happen to him again. Gonna save him some money. I should be the good guy.
Bro, I'm telling you, when I saw him say that, this is what made me be like, okay, no, I'm heated. I need to make a video about this. Like, when I saw this the first time, it was like, there's no way this guy is serious right now. There's no way he thinks that he's a good guy. There's no way. There's no way. You can't be serious right now, right? People like this actually exist on Earth? You're not the good guy. Like, hello. you're scamming people out of money. Scamming does not equal good guy in my brain or in most normal people's brains. You're literally into catfishing dudes as girls to get money from them. You'd literally be better off just telling the truth, saying, yeah, I wanted some money. Not, oh, I'm teaching them a lesson. It's a lesson that these dudes shouldn't be doing this and spending money on girls they don't know. Okay, while I agree with the sentiment that people should not send money to strangers, unless they want to, like there's like the subreddit, like random acts of kindness or random acts of pizza, or just people online that genuinely just like sending people money without knowing the person, and that's fine when you make a mutual agreement. But when you are pretending to be someone else, there is no mutual agreement. You're doing it under the guise of someone else. You're not being yourself. You're not being truthful. At least when people are being truthful and asking for money. Like, if they're just like, I just want some pizza, I just want to buy a shirt. Okay, that's fine. But you were sitting here pretending to be a girl saying, oh, I need to go get my hair and nails done. Well, clearly you don't need to go get your hair and nails done, but you do look a little. Anyway, sorry about that. But Neve then points out that if they wouldn't have caught him, he would have just kept this scam going on longer. So how is it a lesson? It wasn't a lesson because you were just scamming. Like, you were gonna keep scamming until someone caught you. The catfish, Tony, says, well, I'm gonna send the money back to him. And Neve is like, okay, well, can we send it back right now? And then Tony is like, no, I can't do that right now. Oh, because you're broke. Because you're broke. Just say that. That's the whole reason that you're scamming, right? Cammy then tries to talk some sense into Tony by saying, you could have put the real Micah at risk pretending to be her and, pretending to be in the area that she actually lives in. And then this man, guys, oh my god, he kept pissing me off, but this really pissed me the fuck off. He really had the audacity to say, well, girls put themselves at risk when they post nudes online. Okay, again, I agree to an extent with this sentiment. Whenever you post any pictures of any kind online, you are putting yourself at risk of being found. Potential employers could find you. Anybody in general could find you. Friends, whatever. Anyone could find you online. Yes, you're putting yourself at risk. But when you have something like an OnlyFans account, you are acknowledging that risk, but you're doing it yourself. You are acknowledging, yes, I would like to post content of my own body because it is my own, because I want to. I accept the risk, I agree to the terms, whatever. Many OnlyFans people and sex workers in general have some sort of risk management in place, so perhaps they won't post in the area that they actually live in for their own safety. This man was literally pretending to be her in the place that she lived and pretending to have romantic relationships with men while like using her body and face as the disguise. Like, the difference in this is when someone has an OnlyFans page, when someone subscribes to their OnlyFans page, typically the subscriber, if they are a normal level-headed person, they understand I am only purely subscribing to you because I want pleasure and enjoyment and I want to view your content, not because I have a relationship with you and I'm going to talk to you every day and I'm going to send you money because I am in love with you, or I really like you and I want to pursue a romantic relationship with you. That is typically not what a subscriber to an OnlyFans account is going to think. But when you are pretending to be somebody else and pretending to have a romantic relationship with people as somebody else, you're putting them at risk because you're making it seem like the person that you're catfishing has a relationship with them. So if they see this real person, like the person you're catfishing as, if they see this person in real life, they could be like, why are you ignoring me? Why won't you talk to me? Why aren't you sending me like why won't you pay me back my money or anything? And then the real person is like, whoa, what? Like, I literally don't know you. That puts them at risk. That's how this puts them at risk. I just don't understand, but I'm sorry about that tangent, but it just really made me so mad because you can't just sit here and pretend to be somebody else and put them at risk and then try to use the excuse, oh, they put themselves at risk. There's a different risk involved there. It's literally not the same thing. Not only that, but you're also basically selling this person's content again on behalf of them, and you're probably upcharging for it, which makes it worse on the OnlyFans creator because you're taking their money because you're already taking their pictures, but you're also taking their money. Just send them the money. You want to catfish them so bad, send them the money. It's literally their body, their pictures. Why? What the fuck? Cammy tries to explain to him how fucked this all is, and what if his daughter ever did something like this? And he said, my daughter won't be posting pictures like that. How would you know? Clearly this man doesn't look old enough to have like an adult daughter, but what if when she's an adult she wants to pursue something like sex work? If she wants to do that, she can do that because she's her own person. You can be her parent now, and you can parent her and maybe try to tell her, maybe don't do that. But at the end of the day, she's still her own person, and she is going to do what she wants, regardless of what you say. Everybody has free will, and they will do what they want, regardless. I also noticed when Cammy was like talking about this and stuff, and like while they were having this whole mumbo jumbo, that he lets it slip that his baby mama, I don't really like that term, but his baby's mother did something to him. So that's more than likely why he's acting so erratic towards Cammy, because he's being really crazy to her at this point in the episode. But basically what I got from him saying that was, he's a little pussy hurt bitch boy. Oh no, boo-hoo. You're so hurt. I understand. Being hurt sucks. That doesn't mean you need to go out and hurt other people because you're hurt. Also, he calls girls females, and that's also an immediate red flag for me. Anytime that a man refers to all women as females, I'm immediately like, nope, I don't need to interact with you ever. He's like a clear misogynist. A lot of men who say females in that context are misogynists. So that's what I gathered from this episode, that he's a misogynist. And even Neve like points this out. But he tries to mitigate, you know, Neve is trying to like mediate as he does. And trying to, you know, settle him down and just be like, you know, maybe you should actually listen to Cammy. As they're arguing about all of this and saying, you know, basically she deserved it because she put herself at risk, Micah is like, pineapple, pineapple, pineapple. And she joins, and Tony is like, you guys tricked me, with like a little laugh. Shit is not funny. This is so not funny, but whatever. Which, anyway, him saying you guys tricked me felt so staged. Like, obviously it's reality television, there is reality to it, but this part specifically just felt out of place, a little bit weird, a little bit staged to me. But it's all good, it's whatever. But it's also funny that he said, you guys tricked me. You tricked other people. What are you talking about? You are the trickster here. Anyway, Micah jumps in and she, you know, starts trying to talk to him, and he's like, oh my god, whatever, so many people do this shit, and he thinks he should be congratulated for scamming. Be serious right now. Anyway, as they're all doing this, Cammy again tries to talk to him, and he's not listening, and Neve is like, please, maybe you should just listen to Cammy. And also that he needs to rethink his whole reaction towards women and his feelings towards women. And I completely agree, he's obviously a misogynist, like I said. And, you know, Neve kind of implies, you know, you're not listening to her because she's a woman, and he's like, yeah, I'm not listening to her because she's a female. There's so much I can say about that, but I already said my piece, so whatever, we're gonna move on. Cammy mentions that he lacks morality, and he says, yeah, I don't even know what that means. Yeah, obviously you don't. Very obviously you don't. You have no moral compass, it seems, so that's pretty clear. You don't know what it means. But kind of crazy you don't know what a basic word means, but anyway, like, but are we really surprised though that this guy doesn't know what morality is? Like, Cammy hits him back and says, well, you should Google it. He keeps laughing also throughout this entire, like, interaction, and it really pisses me off because shit is not funny. Why are you laughing? What's funny to you? What's funny to you? Please tell the audience. During all this, you might notice that Ryan hasn't even really said anything during this entire interaction while they're confronting the catfish. He's just kind of sitting there, and he does look really sad and like a little bit disturbed throughout this entire like confrontation, and I feel so bad for him. Like, this poor man literally just got caught in the crossfire. Anyway, during all this, while that man Tony is being crazy, they are just all so like shocked and appalled and just like whatever. Like, they get off the phone with the man, they get off the Zoom, he leaves or whatever, and Cammy literally is at a loss for words. She's gagged. She has no idea what to say. Like, I understand. And Micah looks so done with everything as well. Like, she's just like over it. And I really honestly don't blame either of them because wow, that shit was wild. Neve then implies that Micah should get some money from Ryan if Ryan ever receives money from Tony, you know, the catfish. Are we thinking that he's gonna get his money back? Let's take a vote. I'm gonna say no, he's probably not, right? After they all get off the Zoom, Micah sends a text in the little group chat that Neve, Cammy, and Micah are in alone, and she's like, send Ryan my Insta with a smiley face. I was like, oh my gosh. I ship it. I genuinely don't know if they talked or anything after this. And the little follow-up message thing appears. Obviously, Ryan never got his money back. So if you voted yes, he gets his money back. No, Ryan never got his money back. No one is surprised. But on the plus side, it did say that Micah and Ryan did talk a bit after the show. I don't know if they are talking now after the show. It's 2024 now, and this was in 2020. It has been 4 years. If they are still talking, I would be surprised, but that's great. I'm sure that was a great trauma bonding experience. So, yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much the whole episode. This was a really wild one in my opinion. That's why I wanted to do it. But this episode just pissed me off so badly that I just wanted to give my own commentary on it because I was like, I just need to talk about this. I just need to talk about this to somebody. And I didn't think that anyone wanted to hear about it. Like, I talked to my husband about this episode because we were watching it together the first time that I watched it. And I was like, oh my god, this literally makes no sense. Like, I wanted to go on a whole rant. But I just didn't even do it. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna save it for a video one day in the future. And so I finally made this video. But anyway, I need some other people's opinions on this episode because I just think it's really crazy. Like, how do you feel about the entirety of this? Like, people like Tony. How do you feel about people like Tony? Please. If you agree with this man, blocked. I'm not talking to you. But anyway, that's all for my video. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. I don't typically make videos like this. I haven't really been making videos in general. But yeah, thank you for watching.